Most people would think like, damn, you've generated over $100 million. You could buy anything you want, pay for all your problems to go away.
You don't idolize someone.
Yeah, I see people with The Rock, or you see some celebrity and they're just, oh my God. I don't know if it's something's wrong with me or it's just how I was raised. I just don't care.
Everyone wants to be successful super fast. They don't want to have to wait 5 years before you're able to make $1 million. It's like, I want it the first 3 months. Like, why is it not working? Like, what am I doing wrong? And it's like, okay, forget it. I'm not meant to be a business person.
So I think most people, they quit, they go through life, but they never would have known what would have been if they had tried. And that's actually what pushes me now, because I almost lived this life instead of this life, and I was that close the whole time. I look at that, and the opportunity cost would have been $114.6 million. That's crazy, but I would never have known that. If you just keep trying, unless you have a mental disability, like actually, you'll figure it out. You just have to be willing to do it.
Welcome back to the Cold Tub Talks. Today's guest is the $100 million man, Tanner Chidester. Welcome to the show, my man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Best unique show I ever do.
Are you gripping on for dear life right now? What's going on?
Yeah, I think a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. Just in case. Yeah, just in
It
case.
looks like you're having flashbacks to your scooter.
Bro, this is interesting. I haven't done this in a month and a half. So
I'm gonna hold on like Tanner. I like this grip right here.
Yeah.
So man, let's jump right in. I want to get real granular from the get go. I fucking love your framework of money.
Thanks.
It's do the work. How many times have you posted about like, dude, parameters? Like if you reach out to X and you get on X calls and you close X, like there's your numbers right there. But people love to complicate shit these days.
Yeah, like you said, I think a lot of people do complicate it. And I've always liked numbers because I think I was an engineer. And so by being an engineer, I just look at everything numerically, and it helps me have certainty in something that usually there's not a lot of certainty, right? And so I think having numbers is really the only way to run a business. Everyone tries to get emotional. I'm like, that's why it's hard for you, because honestly, being emotional about business, I see people like that. It drives me. I'm like, I don't know how you guys do it. Just because of the amount of energy I feel they have to put in, that's extra versus just looking at numbers. The numbers tell you the story versus, well, what do you think? What do you think? And how do they feel? You know, and I just think that's a kind of crazy way to run a business.
Yeah. Okay. Would you say that applies at every level as you've grown specifically?
Yeah. Like the biggest issue. So even like I had a dinner last night with 4 entrepreneurs, and one of the entrepreneurs said, yeah, I had a sales rep last night I brought on and they sold 9%. And then I'm keeping them on this month because I don't want to do sales calls and this and that. And I'm just saying there in my head, I'm just thinking, it doesn't really matter what you want to do. It's a numbers game. And that sales rep should be fired immediately.
Yeah.
Like they should not be on the team. Right. So it makes decision making easy from the standpoint of what does the business need, and then just choosing that. It doesn't mean you have to be an a-hole, but I just don't really understand the mindset of like just being emotional. I just don't relate to it. Maybe that's a bad thing. I don't know, but it's really helped me in business.
Yeah. So as simple as that question was, simply put, you're saying leave the emotions out of it for the most part when it comes to the business side.
100%. Because like when you have 100 staff, someone's going to be upset at you. Someone's going to like you. Someone's going to have an issue with you. Someone's going to think what you're doing is stupid.
Yeah.
It's got to be a numbers game. And so when you get direct reports too, think about it, that you can't talk to 100 people. So when you get the reports, the numbers have to tell you the story of what to do.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, I think, how does it go? People lie, but numbers don't. You know, like when you look at things, you could look, if you have a closer and you have 100 calls and they close 5 people and they close 5%, I don't think they're the right fit for what you're looking for if they're only closing 5% of people on your...
100, like they shouldn't even be on the calendar. Yeah.
Yeah. How you feeling, by the way?
It's been 1.5 months. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay now. Like,
I figured you'd be
when
good.
it gets in, but
Yeah.
I'm kind of regretting maybe leaving my hands out of it, because now if I put them in, I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
kind of have to go through it again.
Yep.
But I think maybe I should have gotten a little lower. But I'm okay overall.
You did good though. My wife's one of those people that likes to like get in the pool slowly. I'm like, no, you got to get it all over with at once.
Oh, dude, yeah. I mean,
get the pain out of the way.
If it's my choice, I just jump right in and get all the way submerged.
Yeah.
Oh, he's shaking too. Look at him. We got him shaking.
I'm cold, bro.
It's cold.
I think that's the point.
It's cold, yeah.
Yeah, we're supposed to.
Let's see, we're at
What do we got, Dev?
47.
Woo! I love it.
Yeah,
Okay,
cool.
so when it comes to the things you haven't accomplished, I remember seeing a post of yours a couple months ago, and I was like, dude, this is fucking fire, because a lot of people still don't share that shit. You had like a few dozen things that you hadn't accomplished all in 2024.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like tell us more about that. I mean, most people would think like, damn, you've generated over $100 million. you could buy anything you want, you know?
Yeah.
You could pay for all your problems to go away. But you made that list and I was like, damn, that is legit.
Yeah. So the first thing is, I don't know if it's something is wrong with me or it's just how I was raised, but I just have never been a big fan of someone.
Yeah.
To the point where, you know, you see people with The Rock or you see someone with a celebrity and they're just, oh my God, and there's...
You don't idolize someone.
I just don't care. Yeah, I just don't care. And maybe it's because I met a few people. But yeah, it's just not that big a deal to me. Number 2 is, even when you're striving for excellence, the one downside, David Goggins will even talk about this, but you realize this when you go farther, how much farther you can go. And so you actually will see more deficiencies. And that's why the game never ends, because there's always something else to do. So all the stuff I didn't do last year, it was goals I had, but I mean, it's hard to do everything, but I still like striving for greatness, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. We got a surprise coming. We got the ice buzzer. Can you hold on a little longer?
Oh my God.
Ice coming.
Oh God. What did I do?
Just close your eyes.
I don't want to see it. Yeah, I don't want to see it. It's like,
Oh, it's a huge chunk. Give me an iceberg. Go ahead.
oh my gosh.
Oh.
Here we go. All right.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in the deepest circle of hell right now. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I hate the chest one.
Yeah, when it goes around your chest.
Right.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I didn't think my voice would go, but it's...
Oh, dude, you are chattering away. I was trying not to laugh.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. That question.
They're like,
I got the leftovers.
Yeah, I'm definitely chattering at this point. I can't control it either, yeah.
Well, not too much longer.
Yeah.
We're doing the good things for our bodies right now.
Yeah.
Yes. And our brains.
Oh, yeah.
Lord knows Tanner needs it right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Please, Lord, help me, Brian.
Speaking of business, Tanner, I know your brother used to be a big part of your business.
Yeah.
Is he still a part, or is he doing his own thing now?
No,
What happened
yeah.
there?
So that was a very interesting part of business. Both my brothers worked for me for about 4 years, and they were making a lot of money.
Mhm.
And there were just changes in the business, and they worked extremely hard. So I want to be super clear on that. They're some of the hardest working people you've ever met, and they would be an asset to any team. The issue is I put them in president/CEO roles.
Got it. So high
And if
power.
you've never done it, it's hard to explain. You just don't know how to do it. And so we were having a lot of issues from that. And it's my fault because I set them up to fail. But at that point, I don't know how to describe it. It's just, we start kind of having back and forth every day and all that. And we finally came to the agreement. It's like, hey, it's going to be better. They move on. And now but the stuff they've learned has definitely helped them. Like they're in very good positions now. They're doing great. But the way I handled it, looking back, I wish I handled it a little bit better. But it's really my fault. Like ultimately, you got to hire for experience. They didn't have any experience in that position. And so I was strictly hiring off potential, right?
Yeah.
And that I trust them, that they did a good job. But even if someone works really hard, if they don't know what to do, they can't do it.
Dude.
Yeah, it's so true. Is that where people come from? Like you would say where it's don't mix family and business? Like to a sense, like if they don't have the experience or the understanding of what they're doing.
So to be honest, usually my family, I feel we just work really hard and that separates us. I mean, my brothers are psychos. Even the new places they're at, all the time I know the owners, and that's part of the reason they were able to get there. And they're like, dude, your brothers are freaks. I was like, yeah, they are. The benefit in the beginning of the business is they had a sales job or they had a fulfillment job. So it's a little bit, let's say, quote unquote, lower level. I just think if you're putting people in very high level positions, you got to think about you're hiring a CEO or a COO or whatever to tell you what to do.
Yeah.
If you're telling them what to do, it's just the wrong frame. And then it creates more headache in business than actual help, if that makes sense. And that's kind of what happened.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You answered that with give me some knocks. That was such poise.
With the chill.
Yeah.
Yeah, man,
No,
as
dude,
best as I can.
Tyler's over here shaking like, oh, I'm just watching him. He's
like
just
a leaf, man. But that was beautifully said because I feel like family is so important for most people. But like the way you answered that, like that was awesome.
Yeah, I could have done it better. We're good now.
Yeah.
It was a little bit of a riff for a few months, but the thing is, because they learned so many skills working for me, Gentry is now a sales manager for one of Alex Hormozzi's portfolio companies, makes a ton of money. Benson works with one of my friends, Cole, right? Makes a ton of money as a rep. So it worked out. I should have handled it better, but it's a good learning experience. I've never done it before. I never hired someone to be a CEO before.
Yeah.
Right? And so most of the times you do the thing for the first time, unfortunately, you mess up.
Yeah. No, and one thing I have to say I respect out of like the years and years of following you is always how honest and transparent you are of like what's going on in your life. You know, a lot of people don't do that. You know, they're not open of like the negative things. I mean, clearly, yes, I'm sure there's more you could share.
You'll get caught in a lie. That's my take.
Yeah.
So just in general, I think people try to, they try to put on a persona. Eventually you'll get caught in a lie or you'll say something
I hear you.
that's not going on. So for me, and I don't try to say anything over the top. I think maybe I had a little phase I was sharing too much, but it's more just to make sure people know. It's like, dude, I still have problems like anyone else. And all the rich people you look up to, they're just people. That's my opinion. I mean, I meet them, I'm like,
I love that. Yeah.
they're just people. I think that's part of what's made me successful too. Is I mean, I'm just not that impressed. Not in a bad way. I just go, oh, you're human.
Yeah.
And then it just gives me kind of the perseverance to want to push through that and become the best I can be.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, every person, no matter the amount of money they have, has problems, right? It might be to different levels or different things going on, but everyone's got issues at some area of their life that it's not like you look. Like it's not like we look at you and it's like, oh, Tanner's got no issues. You know, he's made $100 million in his life. Like his life's perfect. Right. I mean, you got shit going on too. You had a huge concussion. You're recovering. Like you have health things going on. Like
what other than that? I honestly, when they said Tanner, you could have died, how would you have felt? I think number one, I would have felt like a dumbass because $100 million guy falls off a scooter and dies. But number two, I actually felt really proud. I was really proud of how I've lived my life to this point because I've done my best. And that was actually a really good feeling because they said I could have died. And I was like, if I had, I would have felt like I wouldn't have had regrets. Yeah. I think that's the big key to life. Money doesn't really solve anything besides money problems.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like
so
that.
So true.
By the way, I think it's elderberry time. Oh, you
what is this?
Cold elderberry?
What the fuck is that? Do I drink it? What I drink it.
An immunity supplement, my friend. If you've never had elderberry.
All right, cheers, boys.
More powerful than vitamin
Dude, I am
C.
like shaking like a...
It's made by us right here at InstaShed. Let us know what you think, Tanner.
Honest review time.
Yeah, it's actually, it's really good.
You like that? Sweetened with erythritol.
Wow.
I can make talk. I think it's time to transition. Are we ready, boys?
I'm sitting over here just laughing, not shaking.
I can't even talk anymore.
Sometimes I feel bad because I'm not shaking at all, and then like people are just like all over the place.
Oh man.
Yeah, bro, I'm shaking.
I think he's keeping it all in the cup though. Actually,
yeah, I'm a like, look at my hand. Like,
all right, let's transition for these cold fucks.
Up and out.
Hey, I want to give a quick shout out to the Pod Company, our sponsor for the Cold Tub Talks podcast. I'm sitting in their Ice Pod Pro. These are the best in-class pods. If you don't have one, you should get one for yourself. And if you haven't seen the Cold Tub Talks podcast, you can head over to YouTube, the InstaShed page, and check it out for yourself.
Welcome back to the Cold Tub Talks. I'm still shivering my ass off. You doing good, Tanner?
I just realized that I'm shivering still a little bit, but I'm doing good.
Devin, checking in?
100% good to go.
All right. So Tanner, we were taking a break and these two were warming up in the sauna. I didn't have the luxury of doing so quite as long, but we were on the topic of Funnel Hacking Live. I think it was their 10th and last event. Am I right?
Yeah, I still don't know why it's their last one because if they're continuing the business, but yeah, as of now, that's what he said. I saw another email yesterday. He was confirming.
Oh, really? Okay, I was going to say it could be a marketing stint.
Yeah, that's what he said.
I bring the event up because you just did, I think, over $300,000 at the event. But dude, lay it down for us. I'm impressed. I love the creativity to capitalize on an event like that. I feel like you just put it together days beforehand where it was like, hey, I'm going to do this thing in my room, have some people come. And it's like within days to generate that much, for me, it shows that anyone can create wealth.
Yeah. So I got the idea from someone and they said, yeah, I kind of do these breakfast clubs at events. And, well, basically, and the conversation started, they said, hey, I haven't seen you at events in a while. Like, I kind of feel like you've fallen off in the sense, like, you haven't been at events. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I just haven't done one in probably 4 years. I haven't been mine. So long story short, I said, hey, let's try one. So we went and we had a lot of people. We stood in the middle. So I think number one is just so people understand because of the awards I've gotten, that helped. If people didn't know who I was, that would not have helped at all. I stood in the middle. People kept coming up to me. It was nonstop. I mean, nonstop all day. And we were there we do probably good like 6-7 hours a day. And then what we would do is we say, hey, like, I don't know if you care, but we're doing this breakfast club in my room tomorrow at this time before the event. Most people are like, yeah, dude, yeah, it'd be sick. Wow. Got their number. And then we just did a massive group text. And then we invited them the night before. And then we did that. We did two in the morning. We did one kind of last minute because we were leaving a day early. Like what I should have done is book the flights, maybe like lunchtime or dinner.
Sure.
Because it was the morning of the third day. But yeah, it went really well. And then I just did Q&As the whole time I did it. I started off by saying, hey, here's me, a little bit about me, 5 minutes, Q&A. And then right at the hour mark when people were going to leave, I said, hey, and I pitched, and then I kept doing Q&A. And it wasn't a like hard pitch. It was just, here's our two options. If you guys like want to get more of this and you really like it, and you can talk to my guys in the back. And that was pretty much it.
Yeah. Seems like it could be very conversational. But and obviously you've gone through a lot of trial and error to be able to do what you've done. But like when I think of that, like if you can within a few days come up with a game plan to create $300,000 in a single morning by having people there.
Yeah.
How easy can it be for people to generate the 10 or the 20 or the $50,000 that they truly want to make? I feel like back to the first question I asked you in the tub, people complicate things. And when you break it down, it's like, man, if I just need to make 10K a month, is it really that hard? They get in their own way.
Yeah, it's either that or they just don't want to do the work. Because it takes work to create the idea, right? I mean, that's the hardest thing to do. The execution, in my opinion, is actually the easiest. Usually it's the ideation. So coming up with, okay, we're going to go there, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. But yeah, I mean, there's just so many ways you can make money. I agree. It's just you have to be willing to do the work. And most people aren't. And it is hard. I mean, but once you actually find something that works, and it has leverage, it's pretty easy.
Yeah. So sure. Do you think you find people that quit too soon? Like they just give up right away?
100%. Dude, like check this out about my life. This is what I think this really helped me become the way I am is when I was 23 to 25, I made $2,000, right? $2,000. Yeah. I was working all day, every day. So I was either at a regular job or I was trying to build my business and I was failing miserably. And I almost quit 5 times. Me. And that says a lot. And I almost quit 5 times. I would call my mentor. The mentor would just say, Tanner, like, stick it out. You're going to figure it out. And I was just like, bro, like, I'm almost 25 years old. I have no car or a shitty car. I didn't want to date girls because I didn't feel like I had anything to offer. My life wasn't going that good. I dropped out of school. I'm making no money. I'm making $3,000 a month as a server at Olive Garden. I mean, I'm not living the dream.
Yeah.
Say the least. And I stuck with it. And then, I finally figured out at 25, I made $1 million. Then, you guys know the story. I've made a lot since then. But I look at that and the opportunity cost would have been, $114.6 million.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But I would never have known that. So I think most people, they quit. They go through life, but they never would have known what would have been if they had tried. And that's actually what pushes me now because I almost lived this life instead of this life. And I was that close the whole time.
Yeah.
Right. And so if I had at any time during those 2 years, if I didn't have that mentor even, so people think a lot of times I'll say, yeah, get a mentor because like I mentor people. I'm like, no, dude, because that's what you have to do to be successful. So yeah, in my opinion, most people quit too soon, and that's why they don't get to where they want to go. If you just keep trying, unless you have a mental disability, like actually, you'll figure it out. You just have to be willing to do that.
Yeah. We live in a world of, I think it's like instant gratification. Everyone wants to be successful super fast.
Yeah.
Like they don't want to have to wait 5 years before they're able to make $1 million. It's like, I want it the first 3 months. Like, why is it not working? Like, what am I doing wrong? And it's like, okay, forget it. It's not meant. I'm not meant to be a business person.
Yeah.
And then they just stop cold turkey and then they never know what could have become.
Yeah. I honestly believe you can do whatever you want. I really believe that. And I hired I've not usually been very big on mindset because I don't know. I just felt things came to me easily. I hired a mindset coach last year for $200,000. Works with very high level people. Very high level people. If I said the names, you guys would recognize them. And he really taught me about what he calls, the law of creation, and really you can create your reality. And I think most people, it starts with what you say becomes your thoughts become your actions become your results. And a lot of people talk about manifestation, which I would always shake my head. I'm like, dude, that's such bullshit, right? In the sense of people would say stuff and think it's just going to happen. The way he taught it to me is he says, the point is you're supposed to say things that you're trying to become. And so when you get in tough situations, you'll make the different choice. And I was like, that logically makes sense to me. Meaning if I say something I try to say to be a better boyfriend to my girlfriend, as I say, I'm the world's best husband. Because when I get pissed off about something stupid, when I think of that, right? Because if I say that twice a day, I think, okay, what would the world's best husband do? Even though I'm annoyed with whatever she did, it's made a massive difference in our relationship. But before, if I go, oh my God, she's doing this stuff again. You know, that's what most people do.
Yeah.
They're reacting. And so the average person, to your point, they're just reacting to everything. They don't decide who they're going to be. And so what happens to you actually doesn't make a difference. It's who you're going to decide to be in that moment. And that makes a difference. And that's when you meet those people where they do certain things and it surprises me. Like this guy, Steve, someone threw a rock at his car, $250,000 car. He's out of prison and he was FaceTiming like this. So the prisoner thought that he was filming him. So he threw a rock at his car. Steve's an older guy. Can't hear or see that well. So he was FaceTiming someone. If someone threw a rock at my car that was in a prison, I would have flipped shit and I probably would have cussed him out and I probably would have told the prison guard, right? I would have been like, yo, what the F is with this inmate?
Yeah.
Steve went over to this guy and said, dude, I'm so sorry. I didn't know you thought I was filming you. I can't hear or see that well. Do you mind if I spend, 10 minutes with you or whatever? And I was like, wow. And that's what made me say that. I said, Steve, how can you change? I was trying to change because I had some issues in my life. And I said, but I can't control other people. Sure. But he gave me that example and he says, the difference, dude, is I feel the same type of rage or feelings that you feel, but I decided that in those moments I would be a different person because he calls it his document, right? Mm-hmm. So you can call it whatever you want, but to me, that is the most logical framework I've ever had. And most people, they don't do that. They just do stuff and, oh, it's not for me. It doesn't work. And they're creating those things, meaning because they're saying those things and they're taking action on those things, it creates that reality versus the other one.
Yeah.
Like, to be frank, when I'm going to die or before I die, if I'm, let's say, quote unquote, the world's best husband, I don't think I'm going to have the most purest thoughts or I'm not going to have any issues or I just think those things will happen, but I go, I've made a decision to be this person, so I won't act on those things. That's what I honestly think maturity is and just getting better as a person. I don't think it's that you feel different necessarily. It's just that you feel the same thing, but you make a different choice.
Yeah.
That's sweet. Yeah.
We talk about that a lot. It's like, who's the person I want to become, not the person I am. Because I think you can always improve or figure out ways you can improve your life or become more, or reach that next level. But if you're the person you are now, you're not going to be able to reach the level that you want to reach by being the same person that you currently are. It's
like business. If someone does something stupid, I still think I'm going to get pissed off as I get older. I don't think I'm going to go, oh, you know what? It's fine, Billy. I think I'll be like, Billy, you in my head, I'll be like, Billy, what, you dipshit. Like, why did you do that?
Fucked up.
But I think the difference will be if I want to get to the next level, like let's say you want to take a business from 1 million to 10 or 10 to 20 or 20 to 50, like you have to develop as a person to act differently. That's all I think it is. So that's why sometimes I get annoyed when people, they talk about their feelings so much or they talk about mental health and all this. And I go, but dude, like it doesn't really matter how I feel or what I think. It matters more what does it take to succeed and then becoming that person. And I think becoming that person is not that you have to feel different. I used to say that all the time. Oh man, I can't wait till one day where I don't get as annoyed or I don't get as upset. And then I think I finally got to a point and said, I don't think that's ever going to happen. I think it's just, I have to make a different decision. And that's what Steve taught me, at least. That's at least what I took from it. So
that was awesome.
Yeah.
That was super cool. Just like hearing all that and looking at a different lens. I think that's what a lot of people need to do is just look from things from different perspectives and they could change their lives vastly from that. And one thing you were talking about, your relationships. So one thing, like I know I saw you post about before is how you did a terrible job with your personal relationships. And as you've gotten bigger and bigger and bigger in company, managing more people, having more stuff on your plate, How has that been? You're in a happy relationship. You got a good life going. Like, what's changed from when you made that post to now?
So there were two things. Number one is that I think affluent men may have to deal with is as you make more money and you get more status, you get more power. You can do whatever you want pretty much. Like I can pretty much do whatever I want. That is a hard thing to deal with, right? In my opinion, because for me, at least as I grew up, I just want to make a lot of money so I could do what I wanted. Then as I made a lot of money and I could do as I wanted, one of the things I struggled with in relationships was just like romantic relationships in the sense that, you know, I'm a guy and I was like, yeah, I just want to have, you know, a bunch of girls, whatever. Mm-hmm. And it took me a few years to realize that no matter how you slice that situation or you try to, you know, tell people the truth or whatever, like that's like women on average, I would say are more emotional. They think very differently than us, right? Let's just leave it at that. And so it would cause a lot of issues in that respect. And I had to mature through that. And then the second thing was going back to what I said before, bro, I just make the different choice. I start taking stuff in my relationship and treating it like a business. So for example, like we do date night once a week. Like whether I felt like I wanted to do it or not, date night. You know, anything like that, or if I would get upset, like handling it differently. Things that were important to her, I made them important to me. And what would happen, and this is what was so powerful, is I'm not super religious, but I think there's a verse in the Bible that says something like, you know, men are created in God's image, right? And so to me, what I noticed is as I changed, so she would annoy me, let's say, and I usually be like, oh my gosh, you're so annoying, right? And then she would get riled up. What I started to notice was that if she did something, I would react differently in a positive way, and then she would mirror me. And a lot of people actually do that. And so what I started to realize, I said, this, to me, that was the most godlike thing that we actually can do is when they say you can create your own reality, people go, oh, no, you can't. You can't control people. It's like, yeah, you actually can. Because what happens is if you throw something at me and I'm like, you mother effer, and so that's what we usually do. We react. And no one's going to blame me for that reaction if I throw something at you, but you reacting is just going to make me react. But if I threw something at you and you said, oh, dude, it's all good. Don't worry. I get it. You're probably having a tough day. What do you think I'm going to do? Oh, totally just come down.
Yeah.
And so I mirror you. And so that actually, to me, I had that happen a few times where a quote unquote, maybe a situation that used to go bad for me then started to turn good. And I was like, wow, it's really that easy. And it was almost like I felt like I was a puppet master. I'm not, right? Like they're still their person. They're still making their own choice, but it was crazy because people mirror you very closely.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times, at least what I think is, you know, life is a mirror. So how you are, like what you're receiving in your life is like, it's usually a reflection of what you're doing or you're not doing. Absolutely. So it was really those two things. Like one, I just had to mature as a man. I had to finally get to the point and say, I can't talk to 100 girls and they're all okay with it.
Yeah.
That was one thing. And then the other thing was I just had to start making decisions the same way I do in business. You know, in business, we do it all the time. I don't feel like getting up or I don't feel like going to the gym. But then sometimes in relationships, we think it's a choice. We go, oh, I don't feel like doing that today.
Yeah.
And then we wonder why the relationship doesn't go well. And I'm thinking, why would I, it's so dumb that I thought that. Like, I think it was dumb that I thought that, but it was just a maturity issue. It was, so I think the hard thing about life is we all come here, we don't know anything. And some stuff you just have to go through. No matter what someone had told me, guys told me that all the time. Like, yeah, Tanner, like, trying to date a bunch of girls and stuff, like probably isn't like maybe the best path or it's probably not going to work out. And I was like, yeah, but there's 8 billion people on earth. And that's a real thing. There is 8 billion people on earth. But I think on average, what I came to the realization and is after dating a lot of girls too, is I just said, dude, if this thing is so good, then why is it like such a big discussion with every girl? Or why is it such a thing? And then it's like, they say it's okay and then it's not okay and all this other stuff. And so I think the only thing that is a little frustrating to me at times is that we kind of all start over in a sense. Like society does improve, but it's also at the same time when we have kids, they make the same mistakes as us, and then they have kids and they make the same mistakes as us. And I wish obviously there's religion, there's other things that we look at for like inspiration and wisdom, but I think that was very frustrating for me. Is if I could talk to God, the number one question I have is I really would ask him. I say, dude, why did you make guys and girls so different? And I'm sure it is to teach us something, but the way guys think on average versus women is so different. I mean, it's like I'm like 2 + 2 is 4, and they're like, but the way it's just it's more of an emotional framework, and I'm glad that's why I think that's why we're attracted to women, but it's just the way they think is completely different, and it's like I don't know why life is the way it is sometimes. Anyways, that was kind of deep, but
it's a beautiful thing. I think it's like I took the initiative years ago to really focus on, it's up to me every fucking day. There's negative and positive things to focus on. Tons, external things within our control, out of our control. How long are you going to stay in those pissed off states? I think Tony Robbins says you can't be pissed off and grateful at the same time. So when something triggers me, someone throws the rock at my nice car, it's like you now have a choice as to how you're going to respond to that. Am I going to let it affect me for 5 minutes, an hour, the next day, the next week? People don't grasp that. It's you see people complain about things for so long, and it's like, dude, get a grip.
Yeah, and you can see this in all parts of life. I've gotten wiser around that. So the other day, we had a client issue, right? And in my opinion, long story short, I felt what the client was asking for was ridiculous, and I felt they had no grounds for it. I felt very offended. Let's just put it that way. And so, me being offended, I kind of said some very pointed and maybe things that it wasn't that they were super rude, but I was just very like, no, you're wrong. I'm right.
Direct.
And I got the answer you could probably expect. Right. And when it was all said and done, I said, I actually said this to my team. I said, I probably would have gotten a better result if I just had said to what they said, I'm sorry you feel that way. Let's go on a call and I'll fix it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times we create all these issues in our life, but we blame it on other people. But the reality is, if I could have had that same situation and I could have just handled it that way, and it would have had a completely different outcome. But that takes maturity and that takes a lot of personal development, I think, because most of us are just reacting. And I think when you finally you decide beforehand how you're going to act in certain situations, that is the type of person you become. And then I think that's really the highest level of yourself. Is it's not necessarily that you have different urges or the urges go away or like whatever. It's just that you decide to make a different choice.
Yeah.
And I used to think that. I used to think, oh, when I'm super developed, like I won't get angry or I won't get mad. And I'm just getting to the point, I think the same stuff bothers me. Or if I see someone do something stupid, like in my head, I go, oh, that's kind of stupid. Yeah. But I think it's just how you react. That's what makes a difference. And I think that, I don't know if that's how life is, but it's at least how it seems like it might be to me. So
I think it's pretty simple. Yeah. And I think another key to that is kudos to you for having the awareness to even catch that. I think a lot of people just they're not even aware that they have control over that. Or, hey, I probably could have handled that differently. I'm going to try that next time. I do it all the time in my relationship. If a conversation didn't go the way I wanted it to, I take note of it and say, don't beat yourself up over it, but just do it a little different next time.
Personal ownership is what gives you control of your life. Even if it's not your fault, that's the thing. That's not a helpful thought because that makes you helpless. And that to me is depressing.
Oh, was that a quote, Tanner? That was good.
Yeah. Like I just hate feeling helpless. And so knowing that everything is your fault, or at least having that frame, it helps you think, okay, what could I have done better? When I blame you, I couldn't have done anything better. That's all on him.
Yeah.
You go nowhere. And so I think that's the best way to personally develop and just improve in life in general is you always have to look at a situation and think, what could I have done better? And where could I apologize, or where could I, and that took some maturity for me. It took me a couple of years to really, learn that. I'm still learning, but at least, like you said, I'm more aware of it now.
Yeah.
Where before, I just was like, man, what is wrong with this person? What's wrong with this person? What's wrong with this person? And maybe they still have issues, but the thing is, that type of frame doesn't take you anywhere. It just makes you in a kind of victimhood mentality. So.
Yeah. Beautifully said. Wow.
So true.
Moral of that story is don't be a little bitch.
Yeah. Pretty much. Pretty much. Yeah.
Don't be a little emotional bitch.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah. One thing I was curious of, you've been through all the stages. You know, you've been from making $2,000, like you said, a month to now crossing the $100 million mark with your teams and companies. What one or two habits have changed from passing like the $250,000 mark to your first million to 10 million to 50 million to 100? What changes have you had to make in each stage of that journey?
So, yeah, I mean, it's really only two phases, honestly, in business, right? I think they'll talk about a bunch of phases, but to me, it's really two. You got 0 to 100. Most entrepreneurs I meet who are solid, they can pretty much grind to 100K because you're very much in control of the business. You might have 4 to 6 employees.
Oh, so we're talking 100K.
Yeah, 100K.
Okay.
Like 100K.
Okay.
So
not 100 mil.
Yeah, 100K a month, right?
Right.
You have 4 to 6 employees. You pretty much still can be in control of sales, or like you can still pretty much do a little bit of everything. Once you get past 100K, it's 100% team. And I've heard that so many times and I was like, yeah, whatever. But honestly, if I could go back in time, or you guys are asking, what did I focus on in those stages? It's just getting the best freaking team you can get, because what happens is you have no leverage. And so the only way for your business to continue to grow is if you give a good service, right? And then we talk about offers, but that's irrelevant. Let's just assume your offer is like decent.
Sure. Yeah.
So by giving a good service and doing a good job, you have to have other smart people on the team. And that comes down to your hiring, your management, your training. And the number one mistake I made, and I still get pissed off about it, is people used to, oh, Tanner, you're kind of unreasonable. People I trusted, they had good intention, but like, you're kind of unreasonable. You need to kind of tone down your standards a little bit. Like, not most people aren't as psycho as you, like psycho in a good way, right?
Yeah.
And I agreed. I was like, yeah, most people aren't like me. But what happened is, as I would hire people, my standards were so high that I go, oh, like they're not there, but it'll be okay. And so what happens is the business will fall to the level of the lowest person of standards. And over time, I started to realize, I said, I should have never hired these people. And I should never apologize for having a high standard of excellence. Because if you think about it, for a business to grow and excel, it's the culmination of who's on the team. So the higher the level of standard, the better the person on the team, the better the business will grow. That, to be frank with you, that really is the only phase. Like once you get lead generation down, someone goes, Tanner, what'd you do different? Nothing. I spent $500,000 a month instead of 20 grand a month. It's the same stuff. You have more people, but it's just the level of the people you have. And then like putting managers in place that can help you do it. I tell people all the time now, do not lower your standards. Don't let anyone make you feel bad for what you expect of people. And if they do, don't hire them. It's better if you don't, because every time I've had a problem in the business, it's because I've put a B player or a C player in a position that I needed an A player, and they don't work well with the team. They don't do stuff, or they don't show up. Or for example, like I asked someone, what is the best business in the world to you? I ask that question on my interviews now, and they might go, oh, I want a lot of time off. Now, does that make them a bad person because they want a lot of time left? Yeah, like I don't care. Like there's no right or wrong. Like whatever you want is fine. But if I'm trying to get someone in my business who's working a lot to push the business, does that match?
Yeah.
It doesn't match at all.
Great point.
And if you think about it, if you just learn to be a good leader, if you learn how to hire, train, and lead people, and you have no skills, like you suck at sales, you suck at everything, but you can get other people to do it, your business will grow.
Yeah.
It doesn't always work that way, but that really was, to be frank, going from 0 to 100 million, I just ruthlessly got better at that skill. And now my tolerance is so low. I mean, I tell my team all the time, I'm like, guys, this is, I want us to have fun. I want you to like me, but this is a job and there are expectations here. If you cannot hit the expectations, you got to go. And part of what actually helped is I cleaned house a little bit. Like I've cleaned house and they got to see it. And so sometimes I say something, I go, and you guys have seen what I've done. I'm not joking.
Yeah.
So if I say, hey, if this doesn't improve, there's going to be changes on the team, they take it to heart a little more than normal. And you still have problems. You still have issues. But I'm telling you, when you have a person, it's like a partner. When you have someone who's there fighting with you and you see it, and maybe they make a mistake, but they were going full speed. It's so different than you see someone make a mistake and you're like, bro, are you even trying?
Yeah.
I can get into more detail, but that really is like going from wherever you are past 100 grand to 100 million or a billion or whatever. It's that same process just over and over and over. That's all it is.
Got it. So
and then other people run the business for you.
when you hit the $100,000, is that when you would say to start hiring a team? Once you cross the six-figure mark?
I mean, you have to do it even before then because so let's just take a high ticket offer.
Yeah.
This varies per business, but let's say you have a high ticket offer, it's 10 grand. So usually at 100 grand, you're running ads, you have some lead gen, so you got to have maybe 2 setters. Then you have 1 or 2 coaches or account managers to help you with fulfillment. And then maybe you hire a sales rep, right? So you're going to have 4 to 6 people, and that's pretty much your team. But what I mean by that is 4 to 6 people is so small that you can hire the wrong people and pretty much still hit 100 grand, right? Past that though, think about it. Once you get past 100 grand, you have sales calls, you're fully booked out usually. You have clients and you have lead generation. You can't be doing everything. There's no time anymore. And that was hard for me is I had to finally go, man, I can't control the outcome anymore.
Yeah.
Because up to 100 grand, it was all my control. I was like, I'm the man. I'm going to do the work. I'm going to take the calls. I'm going to close the deals. Yeah. And I could grind my way to 100 grand.
Yeah.
Past 100 grand, it has nothing to do with you. And that was hard for me to realize because you kind of feel like you're losing control a little bit. But the way you gain that control is you meticulously hire. And you have to treat it like a relationship. So people, they hire anyone because they have a need. I go, would you just date any girl? They're like, no. I'm like, so why do you hire that way? You should hire the same way you would date. You really make sure before you date a girl, right? Like you're pretty sure she's a good girl or it's like a girl you want to get to know. You're not just gonna oh, she's good enough. I mean, I really, I mean,
some one night
maybe
some
people, maybe some people do, but that just wouldn't make sense to me. Like if I date a girl, like I've gotten to know her a few times, we've gone on a bunch of dates, we've talked a lot, we have the same life goals. It's the same. Right. But for some reason in business, people make you feel crazy and go, oh, you got to have more tolerance. Oh, you got to have more tolerance for other people. It's like
there, man.
Yeah. And it's like, that's the reason your business doesn't grow because you're quote unquote tolerant. Or, the bigger issue really usually is that their dreams have to fit inside yours. So if you look at Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos, they're doing $1 trillion a year.
Yeah.
And they want to make $1 million. That's realistic. If you're depending on the business, if it's just not big enough, you have to be okay with that as well. Like certain business models are not going to attract the best talent because they want to make a lot of money. So if they want to make $250,000 a year and your business does $250,000 a year, you're not going to get that guy.
Yeah.
So that's the other part of it. But
yeah, I took a gold nugget away from that. Like you gotta manage the team properly, hire. Properly.
It's not even that. And like I'll be honest. Like if you find an A player. Yeah, management's a joke. I mean, you check in with them. You good? Do you need anything? It's pretty much just like they know what to do. But if you hire the wrong person, I mean, imagine I had this with sales reps. I used to just bring sales reps on. I was like, I'll just bring them on. And I train them. Okay. I was like, if they suck, I'll make them better. And I spend 2 months, and man, they wouldn't get any better. I was like, God, this guy is horrible. Mm-hmm. And then I finally shifted, and I started doing an application, and we do an interview. And I said, okay, here's our scripts. Here's our recorded calls. When you're ready, we're going to give you a live call. Yeah. But they didn't know that it was a call we usually cancel. It was a live call, but it was a real live call and they record it. And I could hear, and I could tell from listening to that call, the first 15 minutes, like, can they follow a script? Do they have good tonality? Do they sound competent? I mean, you get some people like,
these are just reading a script.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And so it was it's just when you start feeling that pain, and some of us had to go through it. When I started getting all this pain from making the wrong hires, I realized there's got to be a better way. Yeah. I can vet that this is quality talent. And so really the best way to vet it is hire them before you hire them. Give them a task, pay them for it. Like a sales rep, hey, take a call. I'll pay you for it if you close it. If you close it, you get the job. Or I wouldn't even say if they close it, because I've had someone close who like I still haven't picked before because it was like, it just ended up being kind of a lay down or whatever happened on the call. I'm really just looking, where is their skill level? So if we were playing basketball and everyone shot the ball, someone on the sideline could easily go, okay, I think that guy is a 7, that guy's a 5, that guy's a 3.
Yeah.
That's the best way to know where talent is. You're hiring for their skill. If they suck, it's like, and you have to train them up. I'm like, they're basically getting paid and they're taking your time, which is a lose-lose. And I used to do that all the time thinking, I got to be a better leader. I got to be a better person. You can be a good person, do all those things, but it shouldn't be on your company's dollar, and it certainly shouldn't be a manager position.
So have some of those people worked out though? Have you trained some people up and it has worked that way?
To a certain level, yeah. I mean,
probably not the most efficient.
Yeah, I mean, to a certain, like, don't get me wrong, you can take someone who has great potential. Well, actually, I'll take that back. I actually take that back. So there's 3 things I think make you successful. characteristics, beliefs, and then skills, right? So think about it this way. If you get some people, man, they just like, they're a hard worker. They'll do whatever it takes. They have that mentality. Those people, you can build the skills. But then you'll find some people who they don't have the skills and they also don't have the characteristics or beliefs. That's a waste of time. So like if you take my brothers, I took my brothers who had never had any sales experience. Now he's a sales manager for a company that does 25 million a month. He runs 60 reps, dude. That's crazy. You take my other brother who, hadn't had any experience in business whatsoever. He became client success director for me. Then he became CEO, and now he's working at another company, and he's their best sales guy. He's their absolute best sales guy. The guy tells me all the time. So the thing is, they didn't have the skills, but they had the characteristics and beliefs. They knew what it took to be successful, and they wanted to work hard. So I would say, it works out in those cases. Yeah. But that's such a rare trait. And that's why finding good talent is so hard, because you need those types of people. Like you want the people who are going to figure stuff out. You want the people who are going to try to put their best foot forward. You want them to take the business seriously. And some people, they're doers, right? They just do what you tell them to do. You need thinkers. At the highest levels of business, you need thinkers. You need people like, Tanner, we should do this. Here's an idea. Yeah. And when they do, I notice, I'm like, dude, that's a great idea. Thanks for taking it off my plate, because I have a million things I have to do. And you can't do and think at the same time, right? Yeah. So the hard part when you scale is you're doing so much that if you don't have other people on the team that are like very capable, what happens is your thinking starts to become clouded. You can't think as clearly. For sure. Because you're so like, it's like working out all the time. When you're at the gym and you're lifting weights, you can't possibly be thinking. Yeah. You're doing. Wow. And so those are things that really hurt me in business and that I try to stay away from now. I'd rather feel more pain and do more work than hire the wrong person now, because hiring the wrong person it's a nightmare, especially let's say it's in client fulfillment or something. Yeah. They go in, they don't take care of the client. They don't follow up with the client complains. Then they ask for a refund. And it's like, you didn't really do anything wrong except you hired that person.
Yeah. Wow. So true.
Our producer behind the scenes is shaking his head. We were talking about that earlier with him. He does some big time gigs and he's just like, man, the people you work with sometimes, it's like damage control galore. Yeah. That makes you think.
You've put time into your career and your life. Now it's time your body reflected the same standard. At InstaShred, we coach busy men through bespoke online programs that improve appearance, performance, and health. To get started, just click the link in the description, head to instashred.com, and book your free call.
Tell me if you remember this memory. Back to Summit of Greatness, 2018 or something. I'll never forget. Dude, yeah. When you were in that grind phase, and I remember everyone talking about it too. Tanner was like so not present, because I feel like that was that moment, or maybe near, you tell me if I'm wrong, that you kind of popped off and you were in and out of the room like crazy. Yeah, calls like wild, and everyone's like, dude, what is up with Tanner? And I had this feeling that like, dude, he's like, he caught the bug. Like he doesn't give a fuck about this event right now. His business is cooking and he's doing what he needs to do.
I'll never forget that moment. Be honest. Yeah. So to be honest, I would still do that. Yeah. I mean, because here's my, what do you mean well, because if I went to an event now and my business needs something, I'm at a different place now. So that wouldn't happen. Yeah. But if it needed me to, I'm going to step out. Yeah. If you think about it, the whole point of the Summit of Greatness, like going back to that event, is to what? Is to be great, is like to help you persevere, excel, whatever, grow your business. Yeah. Yeah. So to me, it's like, the average I don't know, and maybe I'm wrong for thinking this, but I see people sitting there. I'm like, you're going to sit in here and listen to this talk that may or may not be helpful. Cause like some talks are, some talks aren't, right? Yeah. In my opinion, like I'm just being frank.
I'm with you.
And so I could go get on a sales call and close a deal that's going to grow my company. Isn't that why I'm here? So I can grow my company. So why am I like, that's to me just didn't make any sense. Why am I going to sit at this talk where Lewis House is having or whatever, when I should be going out there and making money, which the whole point of that event is like to get you to go do those things. Yeah. Now, I also can understand someone's like, hey, I blocked this off because like it's an event, etc. But to me, my business was like you said, it was going at such a quick rate. I was like, dude, I'm not going to turn off calls. I'm not going to like say no or reschedule people. And it was a necessary evil, and I was fine with it. I didn't personally care. Yeah, I don't remember why I went to that event, to be honest with you. I don't think I was in an event stage at that point. But I see a lot of people go to events, like even the ClickFunnels event. I didn't watch a single talk. I'm sure there were great talks.
Like you said you were doing your
But I stood out there and I talked to people the whole time because I was there to connect, to either help. It was one of two things. It was like, it's either going to help my brand in a very positive way, or we're going to make money or both.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not there to quote unquote, like, at least at my level, I'm not there to like hear another about storytelling or another thing about it's like, it's simple shit to me at this point. And there just be a lot of people who just go to like seminar after seminar after talk after
the
talk.
junkies.
They just don't do anything. Yeah. They're just information junkies. They don't do anything.
And they're not doers like you were saying.
Yeah. And to be honest, I've learned more from doing than learning. Like, you can learn, don't get me wrong, but like when you really learn the most, it's just freaking doing. You know, versus reading a book or going to a seminar. And you know, Alex Becker really reinforced this a couple years for me. I paid, I don't know, 25 G's or something. It was kind of stupid amount of money for an event. He had 60 people show up. He made a buttload of money. And I remember he did the whole thing. And he's very structured, by the way. So shout out to Alex Becker. Like he like had his notes and and like he's very structured. And then I remember at the very end of the event, he stopped and he said, but guys, honestly, just go and try to start building the company and you'll figure it out. He was doing a thing on tech companies. And it was so funny to me when he said that, because when I started building an online business, fitness business, I had no clue what I was doing. I would just take like the first piece of advice. I was like, all right, let me do this. And then that would work. I'm like, okay, next thing. And then it wouldn't work. I'm like, all right, let's try this. Okay, it did work. Okay, cool. And that really, like, people will think they have to have this whole business plan from day one. Like, I have to have the whole thing mapped out. I'm like, no, dude, you have to have the first thing mapped out. Yeah. The rest, you can figure out later. And that's been reinforced to me a lot of times, because now, actually, just speaking of software, like, I have software rolling out soon. And guess what? The first person I hired didn't work out. The second person I hired didn't work out. Then I realized what to look for. Hired the next person. It did work out. I like, et cetera, et cetera. I'm going to keep learning. Maybe I launch in it and it flops. Maybe I launch and it does well. I don't really care. And I think too many people they think by, I don't know. I think they think by being busy, that means they're going to get a result, which doesn't mean anything. Just, like listening to a talk, reading books. I listen to podcasts every day at the gym, blah, blah, blah. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it's like, okay, the whole point of that is to get you to do
action.
Yeah, take action.
So can I ask you a piece of advice on that topic?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I think you've done this a little better than I have. When you get to the point where you can do most of what you want and you catch yourself taking your foot off the gas, how do you get back in it? When you know there's more you want to achieve, you know that the passion, the drive is still there, but
great question.
Start coasting.
So first, like, I'm not saying there's a right or wrong way. Like, maybe the answer for you is not to do more. But for me, what happened is my business got to over $2 million a month. I was taking home $600,000 a month. Like, it was a lot of money, bro. And I stepped out of my business for 6 months, and I didn't do anything. And I thought that was, I don't think it was, the main reason was because I was trying to think of the next thing to do. Because there's more that I want to do than just consult my whole life. Like, I don't want to die and they're like, man, Tanner was a great consultant. Tanner was a great coach. Like, cool. But like, I just want to have more impact, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And so I was trying to figure that out, and I went and didn't work for 6 months, Tyler. And to be honest, I just felt horrible. And so also there was that event, but the other event was when I hit $1 million in a month. So I had a goal to hit $1 million a month. I hit it in 18 months. I had this huge party in Miami. I've talked about this on a couple pods. Okay. And this guy showed up. I had no idea. Just randos were just showing up at my house left and right, because people want free booze or whatever. And the guy looked at me and said, dude, whose house is this? Whose party is that? Oh, it's me. He's like, oh, dude, awesome. Like, what's the party for? And, I, with a lot of pride, yeah, bro, I just hit $1 million a month. And I had killed myself to that point. I'd sacrificed everything. Like, I sacrificed everything to get to that point. And I remember him looking at me and go, cool. And I just remember thinking, oh my gosh, this guy has no fucking idea. Like, he has no clue, like, what this is taking me to get here. Like, I was like, I basically just told you I just won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Right. And that really affected me. It made me think, well, if no one cares about this and 99% of people will never hit this, then what does that mean for these other people? Like, there's probably someone out there who doesn't know who Jeff Bezos is or Elon. I'm like, you have no shot. I was like, these are the top people in the world. If they're even insignificant, it's like, I have no shot. No matter what I accomplish, it won't matter.
Yeah.
And so that really took me down. So it was around that time I went down this path of self-discovery, and I did everything you think of, probably stuff like I would tell you most people not to do, but I'm just a very type A person. So when I get desperate, I will do everything. I mean, you guys will be like, I'll run around the fire and I'll do whatever. Like, I'll just do it.
Okay.
And after going down that path and then taking time off from work, I realized that you just have to have a shift in perspective, because the whole reason behind business in the beginning is I was poor, which is most of us. That's okay. But once I made a ton of money and the money doesn't matter anymore, it's not going to affect your life. It's not going to drive you, because you start thinking, okay, like I can fool myself, but I don't need more money. And so finally I got to a point where I realized, I said, okay, I don't feel good when I'm not doing anything. The money doesn't matter. So how am I going to live my life? And for me, I've really taken the approach of using business as a personal development vehicle. There's other ways you can do it, but here's my thought. I've done 100 million, right? If I'm going to do 1 billion, I have to become a different person than I am now. I have to become a better person. I have to handle situations better. So to me, the whole goal is what type of person will I have to become to hit this goal? And that's the driving factor now. It's a personal development vehicle. It's because if not, what else am I here for? I don't really know. Like everyone can make their own purpose with life. But for me, that's made it more fun, because when stuff is hard or I make a lot of money or whatever, I don't really care anymore. Like I'm not really tied to the outcome. And meaning this, like the software I'm going to launch soon. In the past, I'd probably be really worried if it does well. Right.
Wait, say it again?
I'd be really worried if it does well. I have a software I'm going to launch.
Yeah. I'm really worried if it does well.
In the past, I'd probably be worried if it does well because how people would perceive me.
Okay.
Right.
Got it.
But now I've just realized that it doesn't really matter either way. So I don't really care how it does.
I love
because
that outlook.
If I launch it and it does well, I get the outcome. If I launch it and it doesn't do well, then I'm going to learn from it, and that will help me improve as a human being and a person. And like, to be frank, some of my friends, like they have some quotes, and they'll say, to live an extraordinary life, you have to do difficult things. And that's true. So like, in one hand, we're always wanting the easy life, but on the other hand, we want an extraordinary life. It's like easy life is ordinary, hard life extraordinary. But because the people we look up to, they've done difficult things. So it just really reframed things for me, and it makes me almost seek difficult things now, because when it's difficult, that helps me know I'm going the right direction.
Like getting in that cold tub of water you just did.
Right. Yeah. That was, yeah. I don't know how much that helped me get closer to my goals, but yeah, it was difficult.
But to the point, you kind of didn't want to do it before. You're
yeah,
like,
of course,
man. But
that mentality I had with it, it's the same mentality you have to have with everything. It's just like, you're just going to do it. You don't need to think about it, or you don't have to feel like doing it. It's just do it.
There you go.
And that served me really well. That served me really well. And sometimes I think people will say, maybe I'm not like a mental health advocate, or I don't worry about my feelings enough, but I just feel that following how you feel, it's not going to take you anywhere good in the long run, because I wake up some days, I don't even know why. I'm just not in a good mood. I have no idea why. I just wake up, I'm like, yeah, I really don't want to do anything today. Some days I wake up and I'm in a great mood. Great. But the thing is, when you do the same thing on those days, that to me is what builds confidence in myself and pride. Like I look at that and I'm like this week I had to work over 100 hours this week. And that to me, when I look back at it, I'm like, yeah, bro, you're fucking shit up. Like that makes me proud of myself. Versus if I don't do it, I think you have that doubting voice in the back of your head that just makes you, oh, I could have done better. And that, I think, when you get to the end of the life, it's not going to matter what you accomplish. It's going to matter if you have regret. Regret stems from lack of effort. That's all regret is. You didn't try. Yeah. You have regret because you know that if you had tried harder, you probably would have gotten a different outcome. But if you actually do your best, and your best is usually way more than you think it is, because as soon as you accomplish something, you go, well, if I could accomplish that, I can. Like it's like now I've done 100 million, so it's like I feel like I can do 1 billion. Yeah. Why can't I? Right, and then I hit that, and then you can hit something else. I lost the train of thought I was going with that, but I guess the point I'm just trying to make is like that's how you can get to different places in life and have the life you want. I don't know.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
You know what I also haven't pointed out yet? Look how good this guy looks.
Yeah.
Right, he could be a member of team.
I'm overweight. I'm overweight. Right?
Come on.
I really am. Swear to
that
God.
just means you have high standards, though, my friend. I mean, look at the shoulder caps and everything.
I was looking at my ads right before the concussion, and I was looking at ads after, and I was like, oh no. I was like, you should like. I was looking pretty.
I mean, dude, in this industry, you always got to give kudos.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
We're all our worst critics in life.
Credit where
yeah,
and you're a former fitness coach, so of course you have a standard.
I mean, my I don't know if it's a girl thing or my girl, but I feel like she likes me fat, bro.
they like the fluff. That's what it seems like. They always like something to cuddle, right? So if I get too shredded, like you feel like a rock, you know?
Yeah. Do we want to do another little pattern interrupt here?
Yeah.
We brought a little something for you.
All right. Well,
Check this out.
Yeah. What is it?
Speaking of fitness. So my wife and I were just down.
Oh God! Did you get? That looks like there's some good.
So this is
stuff
from Central Florida. This is from Disney Springs. We're big Disney advocates. Go ahead and take a look at what's in here.
Oh Lord, this looks.
This is like I'm not kidding. There's no point in a single day that the line for this place is not an hour long.
What is this?
That's a Gideon's half-pound cookie chocolate chip. Go ahead and take a peek. You'll have to bring some back to your girl too, so don't eat it all.
Oh my God!
Show it to the camera. Let them take a peek.
All right, boy.
You ever heard of Gideon's before?
Oh, this one's right here. No, I haven't.
They're fucking good.
Yeah, this is gonna take me the opposite direction of where I'm going.
That was perfect timing. Just insert
Wow,
right here.
this actually looks amazing.
Your girl's gonna be happy. A little more fluff, you know?
Yeah, man.
Dude, she honestly, it kind of drives me crazy because I'll work so hard to get shredded, right? And then she's like, "Yeah, you should eat a little bit more." I'm thinking,
I can totally relate.
right?
Yeah.
I think it's a girl's thing. I think girls, I don't know why it is, but I guess it's good in a sense. Like you wouldn't have to kill yourself to get a compliment, but you know, it makes it hard sometimes because you're sitting there doing a fast or you're sitting there counting your calories, and then they like you kind of feel like I'm doing it, and they like don't appreciate.
Give me the dad bod.
Yeah, exactly. Give me the dad bod, exactly. Yeah. Yep. Thank you for this, by the way. It won't go to waste.
Yeah, our pleasure.
No
problem.
So, in 33 years of being on Earth, what's the biggest life lesson you would share with someone?
Well, I grew up pretty religious. You know, my dad was a pastor, pretty religious, and I think as I got older, I became a little bit less of that, just because at least when stuff would come up, you know, they would be pretty rigid in how they would see things, and I just be a little bit more open minded, so to speak. So, in a nutshell, what I'm trying to say is, I think that the biggest thing I've seen and learned is that kind of a couple things. Like, number one, there's not a right or wrong way to live life, unless like you're religious. Like if you have a certain sect, I totally respect that. But we're all just kind of out here winging it. Like, we don't really know, like, should I be building this business? Should I build the next business? Should I do, like, does it really matter? I don't know. I think that's the number one thing, is that nobody has all the answers, and give yourself the grace as you go through life. Maybe you make some mistakes, but you make a better choice the next time. You make a better choice the next time. And that's been really helpful for me. Number two is just extreme ownership. Like, I learned that everything in my life that I don't like, it's my fault. When I have issues with my girl, like, it's my fault. When I have issues at work, it's my fault. That client the other day, even though she came to me and I thought she was totally out of line, I could have handled it better. And if I had handled it better, I would have gotten a different outcome. Basically, long story short, like, she didn't budge. But if I had said, "I'm really sorry you feel that way," even though like I completely disagreed, I said, "Hey, I'm really sorry you feel that way. Let me hop on a call and help you." I would have had I know for a fact, I know I would have had a different outcome. Yeah. And it's really those two things. Like, give yourself the grace to go through life and don't feel like you have to have everything figured out. That was always really hard for me, because like I always try to make the right choice. I try not to have regrets. I try to do the right thing, but you know, sometimes you got to figure stuff out on your own. I think it's one thing, you know, when people say money doesn't matter, I think you have to really make money to learn that. Like, I completely disregarded that. I was like, you know, I just was like, "Oh, you're poor." That's what I would say in my head. I'd be like, "You're poor." That's 100%. That makes no sense. You got to figure a few things out. And then number two is just understand you have a lot more control than you think, and you can create your reality. And what I mean by that is even people, they'll mirror you. Like, it's crazy. I'm telling you, if you really focus on it, watch it happen. You watch someone mirror you, and you act opposite of what they're expecting, and they will match that. And you'll go, "Oh my gosh," like, you actually can control a situation a lot more than you think. And that to me was very powerful.
Dude, that's
to learn that.
Thing. My favorite thing, one of the things we stand by with InstaShred, is everyone deserves to be at a 10 out of 10. Yeah. Mental sharpness,
right? Physical
capabilities. Because when you walk into a room and you have that presence, especially as a male,
right?
People feel it, man. They vibrate
and they respect
energy,
it. Yeah, people respect you. Yeah, 100%.
The way you come off, like, it brings this positive aura to a room, and who wouldn't want to give that gift to others? You know? And to be the person giving it, it's like there's no better feeling. You get to rest your head on the pillow at the end of the night, knowing, like, man, I'm doing something right.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think that's like one of the best things you can do, and just try to pursue excellence. And be all you can be. And, most of the guys I respect, even just like bringing it back to that, just like a fitness standpoint. I mean, it's hard. I've noticed it's harder for me to respect someone who I don't feel is the best I can be, like from a fitness perspective as well. Yeah. I don't know if that's just because of my fitness background, but I think it's because I know how much discipline it takes.
Totally.
It takes a lot of discipline.
Yeah. There's almost no way to cheat it.
Yeah. And I think there's just respect for discipline in general, like doing hard stuff that quote unquote we know is good for us, but may not be the most fun thing to do.
Hell yeah. It's always admirable.
I respect people who do that. Or I really respect people just who, as a tangent, they're very sure they're living life the right way. You meet someone who might be a little off the rocker. Yeah. They think they're a little crazy, but they're so sure about what they're saying. It makes me think, man, maybe they got something. And I think that's a quality of you can actually change people's behavior by being very sure of who you are and where you're going. And being confident in that. And because people will feel that too. And that makes people question their beliefs, right?
Yeah.
I think that's actually the strongest way to get someone to change is
I like the way you said that.
Yeah, because like in church, right? When I grew up, someone like, oh, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. And then what does that make you do? You're like, F you. Yeah. But if you would see someone, they wouldn't say a word, but you could tell they were different, right? There was something about them. And you could see that they did, quote unquote, maybe some things differently. That makes you go, man, maybe they're going the right direction, right? At least it does for me.
Yeah. Damn.
Sorry for that.
No, that was like what you've learned up until now. How about the future? Because Devin and I were actually talking before you came. Generating $100 million is something very few people have done. I haven't done it yet. Devin hasn't done it yet. But what's the future hold for you? Like, what do you see as like success and enjoyment and fulfillment for you going forward?
So number one is like just really working hard on my relationships. People close to me. You can't be close to everyone, but like really, really putting my best foot forward to act in that way that I've been describing to you guys. And that's made a world of difference. And it's made a world of difference for me too, because it makes myself proud when I'm in a tough situation or I've had a tough day and I handle it well. I'm like, dude, you're the man, bro.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a little thing.
So that's number one. Number two, from a business perspective, is I had a lot of interviews with people who'd sold from 40 million was the smallest, which is still crazy, to 4 billion. And the number, probably I could break down 30 interviews total, spent a ton of money on them.
Okay.
But they basically all had kind of three things. So number one was,
we're about to get the juice.
Yeah. Number one was they had an internet marketing background, usually, meaning, and the reason for that is that if you look at a lot of venture capital, great ideas, poor execution. You look at internet marketing, typically, like just in terms of the business, bad business, great execution, right? Like what makes internet marketing usually difficult is it's just not considered a valuable business, because once someone gets information, it's no longer valuable, right? So they would have these skills in internet marketing, good at sales, good at ads, good at, all that stuff. But then they would take the skills into usually 1 to 3 industries, right? Either be hedge funds, right? Tech, or private equity, right? So if you like private equity, you look at Hermosi, Alex Becker, tech, right? Like there's actual examples like in our industry of people moving there. And, after first I was wondering, like, man, why are these guys moving? It's like they're making so much money. And then I started seeing them moving. I went, it's the vehicle. Because meaning this is, I've done 100 million in this industry, but if you guys saw how hard I worked on a day-to-day basis for how many years,
sure.
I think people would be like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, because it's hard to get, you guys know the drill. Let's say I'm a basketball coach, and I show everyone how to shoot free throws, and this kid sucks, and this kid's Michael Jordan, right? The kid who sucks, guess who he made? Oh, Coach, you suck. I'm like, I just showed you how to shoot a layup. Like, you suck. Like, you suck at shooting layups. But in internet marketing or like information marketing, people, that's not how it works. They blame you for lack of results. The issue is like, if Katie's a 10, George is a 5, John is a 3, Kate or George, who's a 10, is going to get the best results. Regardless, he's better. Yeah. And what you have to do is you have to shift to a business where the dumbest person can get the result as good as the smartest person.
Nice.
That's what I've seen. So let's just take some real life examples. Hyros, it's ad tracking software. You do nothing, it works, right? That's why tech usually gets big multiples. I'm not saying you have to go into tech, but it's just understanding why tech is so, has so much value. You look at school now with Sam Ovens, right?
Yeah.
Alex. Everyone gets the same results. You just post in a group. I mean, it's software, right?
Yeah.
I just brought up Alex, private equity. He's investing in a bunch of companies, and what you do in private equity is you invest in companies, and this is what I've started to do a little bit. You invest in a companies that has a better offer and a great CEO. So one of the easiest ways to win in business that I saw was, they just have a better offer. It's just more compelling.
Yeah.
The marketing's not even better. It's worse. It's just more compelling. So I know I said 3 things. I can't remember the third right now. Forgive me.
Again.
Yeah, I apologize. I forget what that third one
you
is.
mentioned 3 branches.
Oh, no, I take it back. Yeah. Easy to know fulfillment, which kind of goes in those sectors. And the reason people go in those sectors is hedge funds, everyone gives you your money, you invest it. Easy to know fulfillment. Tech, easy to know fulfillment. Software works, good. Private equity, easy to know fulfillment. Like you're buying into the company and they run the company, right? That was the main thing I saw because let's take my business, for example. As we scaled and we were doing 2 million a month, right? And I was like, let's go to 3, let's go to 4, let's go to 5. It starts to get harder to do that because the type of industry it is, and then quality control, right? Because if I get a 1 and then I get a 3 and then I get a 10 and people go, well, just don't hire those people. I'm like, yeah, but I have 100 staff, dude. Like I have to pay people. Like, you don't have a choice at that point. You have to sell whoever is going to buy your stuff, right? And so the issue is that because you cannot get everyone the same result, it never spreads by word of mouth as much. You don't get as much LTV, you don't get as many re-signs. And so to answer your question, I'm shifting into those types of businesses. So far I've bought a couple portfolio companies. I don't really talk about them publicly, but like I have some. They do great. Big thing you want to look for, great CEO, great offer. If the CEO sucks, do not do it. Because what they'll do is they'll make you run the business. And then there's no leverage. And then number 2 is I've started a tech company and I'm going to launch it. We'll see how it does, but it's very specific to my customers. And I think it's a very specific problem and I'll see how it goes, but that's been a great learning experience.
That's awesome.
Hedge funds is just not something I really know right now because it's investing. And I just, in terms of investing, that's just not something I've really delved deep into. Mm-hmm. But that was the main things I saw. And so every interview, every company I saw, it had an internet marketing background, easy to know fulfillment. And then they were usually in one of those 3 industries. Or the cool thing is if they had a really good business, it would usually be, give me a second. I forgot my train of thought with that. I apologize, guys.
No, you're fine.
Concussion.
I get it.
I'm like, where was I?
You're doing great, man. It's an awesome, the moral of that story. And I always like to kind of circle back as a big picture.
Yeah.
It reminds me of what one of my initial mentors, AJ Mirzado, I think you knew.
Yeah, bro.
He
passed
away suddenly 3 months ago. Rest in peace. But he always said, work smarter, not harder. He was really good at seeing the big picture like that. Like, dude, find things that you can do that take your time away from it. Those 3 years.
You got to, I think you must work hard because by working hard, you'll get the most out of the vehicle you're in. Plus you'll learn what not to do, what to do, etc. But
yeah.
It's the same thing as you take a janitor, okay? He makes 50 grand a year. Then you take a doctor. He works just as hard as a janitor, but he makes a little bit more because he's in a better vehicle. Then you take the business I just created. It's good. Then let's say you go into tech. You're just creating more leverage. That's it. You're not working. It's not that you're quote unquote even working less hard. It's just that you're getting more output for what you're putting in. And so to me, what I started to realize was that if you think about information marketing or information products or whatever you want to call it. Usually I will see on average, you have a couple companies above 2 million a month, but usually that's where you see people it starts to break. And the reason it breaks is by what I said. So the goal for me this was really the question I had to ask. I left and I said, what can I make or create that will let the dumbest mother effer get the same result as a smart and if you think about the type of businesses we're in now, if you're a fitness coach or you're a business coach or the dumbest person will not get the same results as the smartest, no matter what you do, or unless you run the company for them. But then at that point, it's you're now have multiple businesses, and a lot of people get upset about that. But that's just the truth of the fact. That's just how it works. So that was the main thing I learned. And so like, that's the direction I'm going now. And, you know, everything I've learned in internet marketing, I feel I could run any company in the country. I feel if anyone called me, I could go in and be COO right now.
Yeah.
But you got to learn those skills. And then if you take that into a better vehicle, it's game over, in my opinion.
I mean, these are efficiency cues right here.
Yeah.
Now, we all have the same frickin' 24 hours in a day. And sometimes I've got to check myself because I think of the mother with 8 kids and 2 jobs. It's like, dude, she's quote unquote busier than I am. Like, get your shit together.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's not, and so it's not just hard work. It's about leveraging yourself too in the right ways, and then working hard in the areas that you need to be working hard.
Yeah.
You know, there's always someone outworking you, and I take that as like a reminder sometimes.
Yeah, and hard work is part of it. Like I don't want people to hear and think they're lazy, but if I look at the most wealthy people I know, they have a killer offer, meaning they don't even have to sell it. It's just I'm going to buy it. So one of the guys, Justin Hartfield, I talked to him. He built Yelp. Basically, he called it Weed Maps. So it was Yelp for weed. And there's just so many.
Weed?
Yeah, for
like
weed.
pot.
There's pot. Yeah. And there's so many people who like smoking weed that it just grew. And you didn't have to do much. He sold it for $1.6 billion in 2 years.
Yelp.
I asked him, I said, what made you come up with that idea? He's like, I just like smoking weed. And that was interesting to me, but it was crazy to see how good, like if the offer is good enough, that's the other thing. It's, you know, it's going to do well. In terms of what I do consulting. So it's a harder sell because there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of people. And then ultimately it's like, am I going to get the result? And what can I say legally or ethically? I mean, if you do the work, but I can't say, 100% you're going to make that, because it's not true, because they may not have the skill. And some people, that's why, you know, unfortunately the industry gets a lot of, it's a scam, it's this, it's that. It's like, I get some people are, you know, 80% is probably garbage. I get it. But there's 20%, it's like, it's not, but you want to blame them. Like when I go to college and I get a bad grade, I don't blame the teacher. But for whatever reason in business, people do it all the time.
Oh God.
But I just learned that the reason that happens is because not everyone can get the same result. No one's going to call Uber a scam, because you can be an idiot and still order an Uber. So the key is like, how can you make an offer that works for the dumbest person? And if you can do that, that's really what will help you scale. But that it takes a lot more time, because if they can't be smart, that really makes you think through stuff. And then if you were to do consulting, people are like, I'll just do it for them. You have no leverage now. You just got rid of your leverage. So how can you create leverage, but also get a result for dumb people? I mean, that's why the wealthiest people are the wealthiest, because they figured out that combo. It's a hard combo.
Ooh, I love it.
But it makes you think differently, right? Because if you start thinking that way, consulting isn't the path, and it makes sense. That's why you don't see a billionaire who's like, I coach people, like, because the issue is they're a billionaire for a reason. Like they're different. And an average person doesn't have those skills, therefore it won't work. And people don't want to hear that, but that's just the truth.
Yep.
So true.
So that's at least what I learned. I mean, I learned a lot of stuff, but yeah.
Yeah. No, that was awesome.
Old
For
numbers.
anyone watching, take notes.
Go check Tanner out too. And if you haven't already, subscribe to InstaShred here. We've got many great interviews coming just like this one. Yeah. What else you got for Tanner?
No, I think a big one that you hear a lot of people say, can money actually buy happiness?
To a degree. So when my life really improved, I was making $3,000 a month, and then I started making $10,000 a month. And so you could get a little bit of a nicer place. You can go out a few times. Like it does to a degree. But to be honest, at the level I'm at now, a lot of it is just, I mean, especially Miami, man. I love Miami, but there's so much flexing and ego. It's crazy, man. And sometimes people even come to me and go, dude, why don't you just, go back and get some supercars and post that for content? And I said, that's not the brand long term. When I'm 60, that's not the brand I want. Now it can get you some quick views. Mm-hmm. There's guys who do it, and I don't, no hate if you do it. That's like, it's all good. Do whatever you want. But to me, who does that attract typically? Younger male, probably doesn't have a lot of money, maybe in a bad spot. Like for a rich person like me, if I see someone posting a Lambo, I'm like, $500,000 car. Maybe it's $1 million if it's the SVJ and it's newer.
Yeah.
But it's like in the grand scheme, I'm like, it's, you could put down X amount and rent it or lease it. So to me, I think the key is like have enough money to improve your life. But the more money you have, all people are trading up is different toys, bigger house, bigger car, bigger boat. And to be frank, like you don't even use that stuff that much. I actually don't like owning anything. That's just my personal opinion because I rent. And the reason I rent is I just value my freedom. If you think about why we got into business is to get freedom. And then people give their freedom away to own stuff that they have to now work for to pay for. And everyone's financial situation is different, but I don't think a lot of guys who are, you know, posting the Lambos and Lamborghinis and the Bugattis and Ferrari, like I don't think they have as much money as they're coming off. They're probably spending a lot of their money to put up the persona. And to me, I'm like, that wasn't a game I wanted to get in.
Game. Nope.
Yeah, no, if you really enjoy the cars, get it. And people say, well, Tanner, you have enough money to do it, so why not? I just don't care that much. After 6 months, I had a Lambo. I loved it. It was a dream come true for me because as a kid, I had a picture of a red Lamborghini. But dude, after 6 months, unfortunately, you know, and this is another question I'm going to have to ask God, like, yo, why did you make stuff like not as exciting after 6 months? Because after 6 months, like, I just didn't really care. And then you have to one of two options. You either get a new car or you realize that you got the car so other guys could tell you you're the man.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's 100% ego. Like girls don't even care that much. And that was really disappointing for me. Like I noticed too, and this is actually when I knew I was making a bad decision is when I was single, I really liked having a Lamborghini. When I had a girlfriend, I didn't care at all. That actually bothered me because I realized the whole reason I wanted it was so that I could get attention to get, you know, girls or whatever I wanted at the time. Right. Yeah. I just think a lot of guys are doing that. And it's like, yes, it can get views. You know, if you want to show that off and you enjoy it, great. But I think a lot of guys are, you know, they're trying to show that lifestyle and it attracts a lower level individual. It's not attracting, like for me, I want to start, you know, talking to the super wealthy people. I have really wealthy friends. Like if I do that, they would laugh at me.
Yeah.
Bro, like, why are you like posting that stuff? So to each their own, I'm not judging and I'm not coming from a judgment perspective. Like I've made my own mistakes or I'm not perfect. But I just think on average, that just attracts a different type of person. Yeah. And so going back to your question, is money buy happiness? Yeah, money does to a certain extent. But then after that, it's like, no. So to be frank, like now, it's like all I really do with all the money I do is I do pretty lavish vacations for my family. Like I have a vacation planned up for us this year. Get all the flights, get all the hotels, pay for everything. Because if not, guess what happens when you try to have family vacations? Oh, I have work. It just takes the best part of having money, in my opinion, is now I can take all the bullshit off the table, show up, here's your stuff, it's all paid for, and now you can actually like create memories and
have a good time.
Yeah. And no one's stressed out or worried about money. And that to me is actually on my vision board. That's my biggest thing. It's like be able to go wherever I want, whenever I want, with whoever I want. That's all I care about, man.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Outside of that, like having more money, in my opinion, is just like it was made up by a man. Like it's literally a piece of paper.
How much money does one man need? Is what some people say. You know, it's only so much you can do with it to get the experience.
Yeah, and if you have big goals, like for example, you know, I want to buy companies and stuff. I want to do big stuff. So you know, for example, I might need $10 million.
Yeah,
right. But unless you have stuff like that, it really like even owning a boat. Unless you take it out all the time, you're gonna lose money on the boat. A car, unless you take it out all the time, you're losing money on the car. Even a house can be that way sometimes. So just for me. Each their own. I literally rent everything I own right now, or I don't really. I guess I take it back. Besides my investments, I rent everything besides my investments, and that's the only stuff I own. Like I have houses and stuff. I've never seen them because like I'm just using them to make money and so forth. That works. I just don't want to own. To me, I just value my freedom so highly that I don't feel like I want to give that away. Maybe I'll get like a house when I want to have kids or whatever. Yeah. But that's at least my view right now.
Damn, I like it. And you're what, 33?
Yeah, 33.
Yeah. Yeah, 31. How old are you?
30.
30.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy I'm even 33, man, because I started this journey at 25. And man, it's crazy. Like it just makes you want to push harder because I'm 33 now. So, you know, when I blink, I'll be 40. And then it's just crazy. That I'm 33 years old now. I was in high school.
Yeah, but so much wisdom came of that. Like sometimes you wish you could fast track certain people that you care so much about, but it's just not clicking. You wish you could give them that amount of money that they think would be like the holy grail. You know, let them get it out of their way, like you with the Aventador. Dude, 6 months later, and they'd be like, "Oh shit, I feel the same way now."
You know what makes me sad, honestly? Like it actually does depress me a bit. Is you want to make all this money to give your family a better life. Now, my opinion is you can't actually give them money though. because what happens, like, so you can like I'll do stuff in a controlled way. I paid off my parents' half. We're going to go on this vacation, for example, with my family. Like, I control it. So like they're getting the benefit of the money, but they don't get to touch it. The issue I've seen, and I saw this growing up, is that my dad was a teacher and he was like, hey, if you want to go to college, you got to get a scholarship. You want a car, you got to pay for it. Like, that was how I grew up. My friends would get cars at 16. My friends would get and it's a massive detriment, because what it does to the human psyche is every time they got in a pinch, they'd ask mom and dad who would get them out of the pinch. My parents were like, gotta figure it out. And I am where I am because of that, for sure. I know for a fact. So the sad part is, when I have kids, I'm not saying you have to be a cruel dad, but if you give him the money, he does not learn the value of money, and he certainly will not be incentivized to work hard, because why would I go through a bunch of hard stuff when you've given me the money? And so it kind of depresses me, but I honestly think like one of the worst things you can do as a parent or a father or anything is like give your kids or your family money, because they start to expect it. They won't work hard. And what will happen is, when you die, they will be crippled. They will be in a worse position than you had hoped for because of that. Or they're just going to be you won't be proud of the person they are. Yeah. Like, even if they're okay financially, say there's a trust fund, you wouldn't want to have anything to do with them, because they're not going to relate to anything you value or have any of the values you have. I don't think.
Yeah.
I've just seen that. I don't know. I could be wrong, right? But I really believe that's
my case. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, people are a lot of, I call them normies. They have different mindsets than us too. If you hand the right person money, they use it as a tool, to fuel the business or to fuel the ventures that they want to create. But I think a lot of people, like you said, it gets to the point where they just need more, and they take the easy path. Like, I got handed it once. Why can't I just take the easy route?
And to be frank, like, I think differently now because I know the value. But like, I think as a kid, like, if my dad or my mom had done that, I would not have the drive. I 100% have all the drive I have, because my dad was like, it's on you, dude. It's on you. And so I said, I just remember having a thought, like, I don't want a terrible life. I only live once. So I got to figure it out. But that came from my dad. If my dad had given it to me, I would just be like, oh, yeah. Like, that's how life works. Like, your parents give you money, and that's it.
And what a beautiful dance that is. The fact that they allowed you to become the person you are, and the fact that you're able to reciprocate it. That's beautiful.
And it stinks in the sense of, like, some people view that as you're a bad parent, but like, I want to be a good dad to my kid one day, but I want him to understand, like, hey, big dog, you'll have all your basics, you'll have all that stuff, but like, I'm not giving you an extra dime, because I haven't seen one case. I haven't seen one rich kid who's gotten inherited money. I haven't seen a good example yet. Maybe it's out there. Maybe I'm just blind, but I have not seen one case. And most of the rich guys I see, they say the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, they say they're not going to leave their kids any money, or not a lot. And so you leave them a little bit, right?
Yeah.
But I just think the problem is, like, they don't learn those lessons. And because they don't learn those lessons, they're kind of like a parasite to society. They're not a good person. They don't bring any value.
Yeah. Making you say that really makes me think, like, I had that conversation with my fiance before, because I remember watching a video of Dan Martell talking about that, and kind of like you, I've seen so many.
Oh, did he say something similar? Okay,
I've seen so many examples from people, but typically it's never a good thing when you just leave all this money behind. Kids inherit it. Kind of, it's like a crutch.
And and the thing is, check this out. Like, let's say you are a legacy person, which I kind of don't know if I buy into that a lot, because it's like, I don't even remember my great grandparents, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But let's say they're going to pass it down from generation to generation. Someone who doesn't understand the value of money will be a dumbass and lose it. I guarantee you. Yeah. They are going to be so stupid and spend so much and they're just going to blow it because they don't understand the value of it, and it's just going to disappear. Like, you can't shortcut learning these types of lessons, I don't think. Like, you can't just give someone discipline. You can't just give someone integrity. You can't just give someone work ethic. Like, you got to earn it. And I just think, like, it's a massive crutch. Like, it sucks the world is the way it is, like, that we all have to have money. Like, I actually think of a world like if we didn't have money and we just like bartered or we all helped each other, right? Like, actually,
it was once that way,
like in the older days. Like,
yeah, but unfortunately, most people have selfish interests, and so capitalism works so well because it capitalizes on people being selfish. If people weren't so selfish, though, maybe the world wouldn't work that way. But I don't know how it would work, because you'd have to have a lot of good people. Like, it'd be like, hey, Tyler, I'm going to help you because you need help, and he's going to help me. sadly the world doesn't work that way, but it makes me depressed sometimes because you do all this work and then you almost want to give it away to your family or your kids. And then I feel like you can only do so much.
Yeah.
Right. Because if you do too much, they're going to turn into a shithead.
Totally.
Yeah. For lack of a better word, they're going to turn into a shithead.
Very well said.
So,
Gosh.
Wisdom.
we'll see. You guys see my kid in 10, 15 years and we'll see if he's a shithead. I don't know.
Yeah.
You'd be like, Tanner, your kid's a shithead anyway. So.
You never know. There's always that fine boundary, though.
Yeah.
I have 2 stepkids, and
Oh, wow.
it's the same thing. It's like, how much can you do? Or like, what do you?
Well,
do in the long
I'm
run?
curious, like with the stepkids, like how much control do you have? Like, do they respect you in that fashion, or are they kind of like, oh, you're not my dad? Like they do that
No.
stuff.
So luckily, when they came in my life, they were younger. They were 4 and 1.
Okay.
like, when
Yeah.
we came
Okay.
together.
Cool.
So they
okay.
kind of like. have
So they
grown
probably
up
see you
with
that
me
way.
around.
Yeah. They see you that way.
And I grew up in an aspect when my parents got divorced, and I had a step parent come in. I was 17, so I kind of
Okay.
know what being a shithead was like.
Sure.
Our step parents seeing like all our other siblings
You were definitely that around that age.
act that way. I
can
had
relate.
5 brothers and 2 sisters. So I had a big,
Yeah. Dude, same. I
family
had
and-
3 brothers, 4 sisters. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
so big,
You
big
guys.
family. And I could not put myself in his shoes of how it would feel having so many people kind of hate you and not respect you and
Right.
be under the same roof as everyone else.
Right.
So it's like, I feel very blessed of just being able to come into like a younger life, and I'm kind of just viewed as like, an extra dad. Like I'm just viewed as it's just normal.
Sure.
There's no like butting heads or like you don't tell me what to do and stuff like that. So I'm grateful for that. But going back to what you were saying, it's the same thing. I don't know long run. I would probably leave some money, but it wouldn't be a lot, and it'd be under certain stipulations to be used for like if they go to school or if like they want to be an entrepreneur and start a business or invest in things, like that's what it would be there for, not just go buy yourself something.
The best person I've seen so far, I don't know all the details, but I think it's Patrick Bet David, and he has stipulations. So it's like it unlocks. That is the only way you could do it. But it's like, to be frank with you, if it unlocks, by the time they get there, it's like,
Got it.
they don't really need it, in my opinion. But yeah, you could definitely be like, hey, I would have a stipulation like, hey, you have to build a business that does 100,000 a month or something like, or like you have to graduate from college or whatever. But the point is he's picking stuff purposely that they're going to learn those lessons. So by the time they actually get the reward, it's almost just like it doesn't matter at this point because they respect it.
Yeah,
That's the only way I think you could do it. But you'd have to put a lot of time and thought and effort into what those things are. I think I don't know who he's working with on that, but I saw he did a reel on that.
Okay.
That's probably the only thing I would do.
Yeah.
Yeah, his stuff is great. It reminded me of the question I asked you, does money buy happiness? And he kind of said something similar to what you did, to where it's great and it doesn't like resolve all your problems, but it can fix problems. You can write a check for something, be like, oh, I got to pay $50,000 for this. Oh, my mom's like in the hospital and she owes $100,000. Oh, I can write a check for that. And you don't have to worry about it, but it doesn't internally make you happy. Like it doesn't solve all your problems.
Yeah, it doesn't, man. And that again, I had a rude awakening at $1 million a month. That was like my goal. And I was like, if I hit that goal, I will be at the apex of life. And I remember it felt good for one day. And the next day I literally woke up and was like, that's it. Like it didn't feel how I thought it would feel. And that's why people always say this cliche saying, it's like, it's all about the journey and not the destination. But a lot of that stuff is true. If you can just really fall in love, like to me, if I can fall in love with trying to get better every day until I die, then I'll enjoy my life. And if I don't, then like, what are you going to do? And to be frank, like even when I relax, I enjoy relaxing. But if you relax too much, it's like, how many steak dinners can you have? How many parties can you go to? How many beers can you drink? It's like, it just gets old.
Yeah.
Right. So,
Wow.
This was great.
man.
So much insight for everyone.
So much relatability and enjoyment. I feel like there were so many tidbits that when people hear these things, they're going to, and unfortunately, I feel like a lot of what you shared, people are going to have to hear year after year, decade after decade.
no, they're going to have to learn on their own. They won't believe me, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't either, to be honest. Some of the stuff I've said now, but a lot of the stuff I learned was just, I've always tried I'm driven to be great. And when I've made some bad mistakes in my life or some stuff I regret, but I just keep like, okay, like I keep going. And it's never coming from a bad place. I never have done anything purposely to try to hurt someone or whatever. I just have always really stuck to my guns. And, so I'm really convicted in what I say because I've never done anything because someone's told me to. It's because I want to do it. And that's the only way to live life. You got to do what you want to do, and you got to have conviction around what you're doing. Because if you don't, like, someone's going to sway you. There's a lot of people with a lot of different opinions on things. And so if you don't know what you believe in, they'll sway you for sure.
Wow.
Good stuff.
No, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, if you need anything or have any questions, thanks so much for listening. Just shoot me a message on tanner.chidester on Instagram, and you can put Cold Tub Talks. So I know you came from this podcast, and we'll have a chat.
Thanks for being on the show, Tanner.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, thanks for. I feel better now.
You feel better? I know.
It took a while, bro.
I finally stopped shivering. I saw your chest quivering, and mine was quivering too.
I had a sunburn for anyone who wants to know off camera.
Really
I got so cold, I got a sunburn.
Yeah, we'll show it.
We're gonna show that shot for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Thanks again for being on. You can check out Tanner. Yeah. We'll link him down in the description. And if you want to watch more great Cold Tub Talk interview series, you can do that right here.